Esther is just such a brilliant light. She has been on Oprah. She has been on Ellen. You name the show, she has been there. She has had 2 world tours with Rod Stewart and Bette Midler. She is a dynamic superstar, a reflection of yourself. She has a new book being released by Hay House this week. Somebody said, that's for me. Yes. Yes. And so know that what is being poured into your spirit today, you are ready and open to receive it. So let's just set our intention, putting our hands over by our eyes, is it? I open my eyes to see the spiritual truth today. And over your ears, I open my ears to hear the spiritual truth today. And then over your heart, just making that conscious connection that the answer is yes. And I'm open and receptive to hear that. I open my heart to receive the spiritual truth today. I open my heart to receive the spiritual truth today. Well, here it is in the flesh. Oh, my honor.
Good morning. I am not broken. You can't break me. Because I am you and you are me, is that right? We are one heart, one mind, one soul, yes? Yes, here we go. Ah, yeah, yeah. There's a new world on the horizon, made of light, not of stone, calling out to all creation, you are not alone. Come on, lions and lambs, saints and sinners, best of friends, enemies, woman and man, losers and winners, they're all in you and me. We are one heart, we're looking for answers. We are one soul, finding our way through the dark. One dream we share together. We are all a part of one heart. Yes, we are. Come on. Yes, we are. We, yeah, yes, we are. Out in the cold, there are faces hidden by the wind and rain. Hold out your hand. Someone will take it and bring you home again. We are one heart. We're looking for answers. We are one soul, finding our way through the dark. One dream we share together. We are all a part of one heart. Around the world tonight, all fires are burning, tears are falling from the sky. Still the world keeps turning. We are one heart, one soul, one dream we share. Yes. The topic of my talk today is the divine invitation, get dressed for the party. I'd like to reference Matthew 22:14, where it says, many are called, but few are chosen. How many of you have heard that scripture before? Well, my dad was a Baptist minister. So I used to hear that scripture all the time when I was a little girl. He'd say, baby, many are called, but few are chosen. Are you one of the chosen ones, he'd ask me? And I'd say, yes, Daddy. But my heart didn't match my words. Because you see, I never felt like I was good enough to be one of the chosen ones. I just couldn't string enough perfect minutes together to be one of the chosen ones based on how it was translated to me that perfection looked. And the requirements of being a chosen one at that time and in the religion I was studying, I couldn't live up to that. But I was going to try. I was going to do it in 30-minute intervals. I was going to be absolutely perfect for 30 minutes. I wasn't going to move. I wasn't going to breathe. I wasn't going to be around anybody. But I'd make it to 28 and a half minutes. And somebody would start playing some music. And I'd have to start moving my body the way Baptists don't move. Or somebody would say something to just make me mad. And I'd have to say one of those words that the Baptists pretend they don't say. And because my dad was a minister of a church, we used to have visiting churches come to us all the time, and there'd always be a busload of cute boys. And I'd have to wink at them. The minister's daughter. I was like, God, it just ain't no fun if you're a chosen one. And then when I got pregnant at 16, I just had to rip up my application to the pearly gates. It's like I'm just never getting in now. Because many are called, but few are chosen. Or so I thought. But I've come to find out something different. But I want to talk to you about Jesus for a moment. He loved to speak in parables when he said that the kingdom of heaven is much like when a king sent his servants out to invite special guests to the feast that he had prepared for his son. And so the guests went out and they extended the invitation to the special guests, and they came upon the first set of special guests. And the special guests looked at the invitation and said, oh no, that's for the Joneses down the street. That invitation is not for us, so sorry. And so they go to the Joneses down the street, and the Joneses look at the invitation, and they're like, oh, please send the king our regrets. We're way too busy. We have so much to do. We're not going to be able to attend the feast at this time, maybe some other time. And so they go and they report this back to the king. And because this is my talk and I can do what I want to, the king got a little ghetto on him. And the king was like, well, what's up with that? You ain't coming to my party? I'm the king. So he said, well, I tell you what, I want you to go invite them again. But this time tell them that I have prepared fattened cattle and oxen and all the wines and delectables and wonderful desserts and everything that they could possibly want. And in this day and age, again, because it's my talk and I can do what I want to, he'd have to invite the recovering alcoholics and the vegetarians. And so he said, you know, tell them that I have all the tofu and celery juice and Diet Coke that they could possibly want. Because there's something for everybody at the feast. But the invitation was declined again. So this time the king said, oh, I tell you what, don't just invite the special guest. I want you to invite everybody. The good, the bad, the rich, the poor, the sinners, the believers, the educated, the non-educated. Everyone is invited to partake of the feast. And on the day of the feast, he walked around the banquet hall and he was pleased, for it was filled with guests. But he noticed one guest in particular that was not properly attired for this most prestigious event. And he was like, what's up with that? You come to my party, you drink up all my celery juice and my tofu and my wine and eat my oxen, and you don't even bother to properly attire yourself. You don't even bother to get dressed. And so he approached the guest and he was like, dude. Yeah, it was a guy. It was a guy. He said, dude, what's up with that? Why aren't you dressed for the feast that has been prepared? And the guest was speechless. He had no answer for the king. So the king ordered his servants to bind him hand and foot and kick him out into a sea of darkness where there would be much weeping and gnashing of the teeth. And when I heard that when I was a little girl, I'm like, I'm going to hell. They're gonna kill me. Much weeping and gnashing of the teeth. That scripture just used to scare me so much because I knew I couldn't be one of the perfect ones. But there came a time in my spiritual development and unfoldment that I had to leave my daddy's church. And I had to leave my daddy's God behind. And I had to find a power of my own understanding. I had to go within and I had to connect to a power greater than myself that is my real self, this infinite presence and power that is omnipotent, omniscient, and omnipresent. And as I went within and I tapped into this infinite power, and I called forth the understanding of this scripture that had scared me so much when I was a little girl. I said, I need to know what this means in a universal, loving, metaphysical sense in a way that I could apply it to my life and in a way that I could teach it so that you can apply it to your life. And what was revealed to me is that first of all and foremost, if God is all that there is, and it is omnipotent, meaning all power, it is impossible for this group over here to be excluded because of its beliefs, because of its color, because of its culture, or any individual to be excluded because of their mistakes. And this group or these certain people over here to be included, we are all invited to partake of the feast that has been prepared for us. We are all invited to partake of the kingdom of heaven because the kingdom of heaven is not a place, it's a state of consciousness. And we all have access to it. We all have access to it. But upon my inner contemplation, I found out something else too. I found out a lot about myself. And because I found out a lot about me and because we are all one, I found out a lot about y'all. So I'm going to talk about y'all. Is that all right? So here's what I'm going to bring it. I'm going to bring it. She's like, bring it. So here's what I found out about y'all. The feast is something that you prayed for. You had a moment, a glimpse, an opening where you saw yourself, you saw the infinite possibility, you saw what was possible for your life. And you said, oh, I would love that. That's what I would want. And the universe said, yes, but you forgot to get dressed. So you want to show up for your party that you prayed for, that, you know, you've been coming to the classes and doing all these wonderful affirmations and doing all the workshops like you're going to come to mine this afternoon, reading all the books, reading all the stuff, maybe even seeing your practitioner, preparing for, asking for your party, affirming your party, affirming your feast of prosperity and wholeness and well-beingness and your divine right relationship and all the goodies of the feast. But you want to hold on to your old way of being. You want to hold on to your resentments. You want to hold on to your drama. You want to hold on to your fears. You want to hold on to your unworthiness and your undeservingness. And it is not a fit. It is not a vibrational fit in consciousness for the feast that has been prepared for you. So then you show up at the gates for your party, half dressed or not dressed in consciousness at all. And you wonder why the guards turn you away. Never saying no, but saying, not now, beloved. You have some more growing to do. Not now, beloved. There's some more truth that you must embody. You must become a vibrational match. You must become a channel that is ready and available for the feast that has been available for you, that has been made available for you. It is never no. It is go get dressed. Go get your clothes on. Get ready for the feast that is here for you. And then there are those of you who just say, I ain't going to the party. I'm busy. I have other things to do. And I'm not going. But what you're really saying is, man, that sure would be nice, but I don't know how. I don't know how to do that. I'm scared. What about my bills? What about my job? And oh, well, I know I've been in this dead relationship for 5 years, but it's, we know each other. But what's going to happen to me if I step out there? What's going to happen if I really step out in my vision? What's going to happen to my paychecks? What are people going to think about me? So no, I'm not going. Maybe in a couple more years when I'm really perfect, I'll come, but not right now. And I remember 26 years ago when I was extended my most significant invitation, and it showed up at my house in a beautiful ivory-colored envelope. And it said, Esther, you are cordially invited to attend a life free from drug addiction and alcoholism. You are cordially invited to attend a life of wholeness and well-beingness and self-worth and walking into your own brand of dignity. You are invited, beloved. Formal attire is requested. And this invitation showed up in my life as just a momentary parting of the veil, where I saw myself just for an instant. I saw myself the way God saw me. I saw myself as whole and beautiful and complete and feeling worthy and feeling like I was enough, feeling good about myself. But just that quick, I shut down that vision. I shut it down. How many of you have had that glimpse of what's possible for your life? How many of you have had that glimpse of how amazing you are, of how smart and how talented you are, and you shut it down immediately with the self-doubt and the self-talk? Well, that's what I did. I shut it down. And I said, whoa. Wait a minute. I'm not an alcoholic. I'm not a drug addict. I just need to do better drugs. Smoking this whack. I just maybe need to do it on the holiday instead of every day. I admit that. But y'all, overreacting. And so I threw that ivory-colored invitation on the desk with all of the other unanswered mail and declined invitations. How many of you have a desk drawer, a garage, a desk, a closet full of unanswered mail and declined invitations? And if it's not in a physical place, where is it in your consciousness? Where you have said, I RSVP no, I RSVP not now, I RSVP I can't, I RSVP I don't know how. How many? All two of you. Thank you. So shortly thereafter, the pink invitation showed up, and it said, Esther, it is highly suggested that you attend a life free from drug addiction and alcoholism. It is highly suggested that you attend a life of loving yourself the way you've never loved yourself before. It is highly suggested that you attend a life of self-respect and self-dignity and wholeness. You don't even have to get dressed up. Just come as you are. And that invitation showed up in my life as my losing my 6th job in a 4-month time period. and my utilities being disconnected once again. I looked at that invitation and I said, hold the phone a minute. If only all of my employers would have gotten the memo that every Monday is a holiday. And the utility companies would have just gotten the message that I'm a single mother and just give me one more break. And so I threw that pink invitation on the desk with all of the other unanswered mail and declined invitations. But here's the thing about the divine invitation, that divine impulse that is always telling you you have outgrown where you currently are. That it's time for you to grow. It's time for you to expand. It's time for you to come on and be more than you've ever known yourself to be. Here's the thing about that divine impulse that always lets you know that something's about to jump off. It's a lot like the IRS. It doesn't stop coming because you ain't ready to deal with it. It doesn't stop coming because you don't know how amazing you are. It doesn't stop coming because you don't know that you're whole, perfect, and complete. It doesn't stop coming because you're scared of breaking through that shell and stepping out into the light of more of who you are. It just shows up with more intensity and more frequency. Yes? So shortly thereafter, the red invitation showed up. And it said, beloved, I will not take no for an answer. You will return to your wholeness. It is your birthright. It is your divine inheritance. It is your identity. You've learned to be insane. You've learned to be unworthy. You've learned to think that you're not enough, but you were not created out of that. You were created in my image and in my likeness. You were created whole, perfect, and complete, and you will return to that. We can do this the easy way, or we can do it the hard way. I'd prefer we do it the easy way because I am love after all. But your choice, because I know it's going to be okay no matter how you choose to do it. And so this invitation showed up in my physical life as my looking in the mirror at an emaciated body from years of drug addiction, and my family knocking on my door to pack my daughter's suitcase and remove her from an unfit environment because I was an unfit mother. And my daughter holding onto my leg saying, Mommy, please don't let them take me. When can I see you again, Mommy? And me having no answer. I looked at that red invitation and I finally said, well, first I said, well, why are you getting so upset about it? But then I said, yes, I will come to the party. Because I know if I don't, I'm going to die. I said, but I don't have anything to wear. I don't have anything to get properly dressed in for this feast that has been prepared for me. And I heard the universe say, oh, but you do. Look in the closet. And there was this raggedy, dirty dress in the closet. But it was a designer dress. And it was made by this famous designer called Willingness. And there were these raggedy shoes with the heels turned over. But they were made by this amazing designer called Surrender. And I slipped on my shoes of surrender and I put on my dress of willingness and I crawled one day at a time in the rain, in the sleet, in the snow, paranoid, scared, not knowing what was going to happen because I'd never known myself as whole, perfect, and complete before. And even though I was miserable, I was comfortable in my misery. But the universe said, no, we got to get used to something else. We got to get used to you knowing that you're amazing, that it's all right. It's all right for you to be free. It's okay for you to have peace that passeth understanding. We got to get you used to that. And I'm like, oh, one more day. I don't know how to do this anymore. Come on, baby. Come on. You're almost there. Come on. How many of you feel that way? As you're growing into that next yet to be, it's like, oh, God, it's a hard day. I don't know I'm going to do this. And the universe is like, come on. I got you. It's already done. It's already done. Just come on. I finally made it to those steps of the castle where my feast was being held. And they said, come on in, beloved. We've been waiting for you a long time. We've been waiting for you to return to who you are as an expression of God. And that is why I get to stand before you today with 26 years of sobriety. Thank you. Now, I know there are many of you here today that don't know anything about being addicted to drugs and alcohol. And that's okay, because drugs and alcohol is just an effect. Drugs and alcohol is just a symptom of a much deeper cause. And the cause of any kind of addiction is based in a spiritual malady and a mental obsession. And so it doesn't matter whether your addiction manifests as an addiction to fear, doubt, and worry. It doesn't matter if your addiction manifests as recycling that same unhealthy relationship over and over and over again. It doesn't matter if your addiction manifests as procrastination or holding on to something that you have so outgrown because you are under the illusion that it is your security. The cause is the same, that you have forgotten who you are. You've forgotten that you are made in the image and likeness of the one power, the one presence, the one life. And when you have forgotten who you are and you unhook consciously from your true identity, you have lost the power to choose. Addiction is when you have lost the power to choose. Dependency is when you have lost the power to choose. So don't say, oh, well, that talk isn't for me because she's talking about drugs and alcohol. That's just my story in the moment. But what is your story? Where have you lost the power to choose? Even how you feel about yourself. Where have you lost the power to choose? Where are you addicted to someone else telling you that you're okay in order for you to be okay? So maybe you can relate to this story about being dependent on someone else for your security. When I was working for Rod Stewart 7 years ago, I received that ivory-colored invitation. And it felt like restlessness and discontent and boredom. I was like, all of a sudden, I was really unhappy. And I was like, now I was kind of accustomed to the invitation kind of thing, and I'm like, uh-oh. Oh, boy. But, oh, no, it couldn't mean that, because I am not giving up my gig with Rod Stewart. I'm just a little bored, that's all. I was just bored. But if you had to listen to Rod Stewart sing Maggie May one more time, you'd stick a fork in your eye, too. All homeboy had to do was change up the set list, right? But then the pink invitation came, and it said, Esther, you are a licensed spiritual practitioner. You have released your first inspirational CD. I have given you this opportunity to sing in front of tens of thousands of people with Rod Stewart and Bette Midler and appear on all these television shows to use as a catalyst for the purpose for which you were created. It was never intended for you to pull over and park in somebody else's vision. That was a good one, wasn't it? I like that one. I use that one all the time. And if you're not pulled over and parked in somebody else's vision, where are you pulled over and parked in an old vision of yours? That's no longer working. So the reason I was given for being fired from Rod Stewart was because of my age and my weight. But I knew that it had nothing to do with that. I knew that my prayer answered had to be downloaded some way. And if it couldn't be downloaded through me, an unwilling channel, it was being downloaded through Rod Stewart. So what he meant for vanity, God meant for my what? God meant for my good. So whatever is happening in your life right now, if it looks like someone has betrayed you, abandoned you, abused you, It's because it's the only way you were willing to get the message. Much compassion, much love, because I know that hurts. But it's the only way you could get the message, because Spirit tried to come through the ivory and the pink invitation. So I knew that I didn't get fired because of my weight or my age. And by the way, have you seen Rod Stewart lately? I just want to know. I just want to know. So after getting up off the floor after 6 months in the fetal position from being so devastated and so shocked and so appalled. First of all, why are you so appalled when you get the red invitation? Like you didn't know what was coming. You knew what was coming, right? But I finally got up off that floor and I looked at all those invitations piled high. And I said, well, God, what am I going to do? Who am I if I'm not Rod Stewart's background vocalist? Who am I if I'm not somebody's background vocalist? And I heard the universe say, beloved, you are mine. I have called you by name, and I know the future I have planned for you. Now look on the back of the invitation and look at the directions. How to get dressed. How to get dressed for the prayer you have prayed. And the first key to getting dressed is first admitting that of yourself, you are powerless and your life has become unmanageable. Yeah? But that through your conscious awareness that you are one with the infinite presence and power, that you are now divinely empowered and your life has been restored to divine and perfect order. Because powerlessness is not where we are to pull over and park either. Came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. Well, in key number 2, it says you can't be restored to something you never had. In order to be restored, then your original nature must be wholeness. You were not born insane. You were not born with low self-worth. It was something that you remembered, you practiced, you courted, you took it out to dinner, and it became a part of your identity. But Ernest Holmes says what thought can do, thought can undo. So there are keys on the back of that invitation. That is the answer for your next step, how to get dressed in alignment for the feast that you have prayed for. And these keys are in my new book, Soul Recovery. I've written a book called Soul Recovery that is being released this week by Hay House. Thank you. And while that is, yes, a plug. Yeah, it is. I want you to know that there are keys, that there's a week-by-week process for 12 weeks that can get you from that when you receive that invitation, that will support you in getting dressed for that which you prayed for, so that you are prepared when it comes. Because let me tell you something. Your good will chase you down, whether you are ready for it or not. And you must have it no matter how much you fight it. So if you've received the ivory-colored invitation, don't panic. Just get dressed. If you've received the pink invitation, I know you're a little upset right now. I know it feels a little tight and a little scary right now. It's going to be okay, I promise you. Just get dressed. Start the getting dressed process. And if you've received the red invitation, I know it feels like the dark night of the soul. I know it feels like nothing will ever be okay ever again. I just came through one of those. And I stand before you today on the other side, free. Yes? I want to let you know that thing that you're holding on to right now for dear life, that there's going to come a time when you're going to look back and you'll say, oh God, thank you for doing for me what I couldn't do for myself. Get dressed. Get dressed. Accept the invitation. And I'll meet you at the party. And we will party in the feast of the infinite good that has always been prepared for us. It is done, and so it is.